I mean, yeah, you can look at the idea of, taking a car on some crazy long journey just before you sell it as an act of recklessness. And yeah, okay, it kind of is. But I think the overwhelming feeling that I've come away with is that, like, I'm too old to have to be beholden to my own whimsy.
Well, good afternoon from a glorious Washington. I hope you're all well. The car has never looked better and it's never run better. I've basically fixed all the little things that I wanted to fix. It's running quietly and smoothly and everything's working, and I'm just delighted with this car. So, time to break some news to you. I listed it for sale this morning. Well, here's the thing. We've been trying to leave the country for the last year. We were actually due to move to France last spring, and that fell through because of COVID. And so we basically ended up stuck here in a way that we hadn't planned. And I bought this car, frankly, as, kind of compensation to myself. I was going to be driving a French car in France, and this was the next best thing. So the car really has to go. We're selling everything and moving out. Now, given that, me and the car have some unfinished business, and I honestly really feel like I owe it to myself and I owe it to you to demonstrate that the car is fully fixed and it's fully working and it can actually achieve some better goals than just driving 10 miles. Now, of course, Canada is shut, sadly, so driving to a new country could only be achieved by driving to Mexico, and I don't really fancy doing that right now. We could totally get to Oregon, though. A drive to Portland and back, it's about 200 miles there, 200 miles back. The car could do that right this minute. And honestly, frankly, I'm tempted to do it right this minute. It's such a beautiful day. What's stopping me from just getting in the car right now and driving to Portland? Hey, hon. Yeah. How would you feel about me just bunking off and driving the car to Portland?
Portland?
Yeah.
Is there somebody there who
No,
wants to see
there
it?
isn't. But I kind of feel like I have to do it.
I mean, it's good weather.
I'm about to drive to Portland with no preparation in this car that I'm very confident will make it. It's currently 3 p.m. I wish my brother-in-law Matt could come, but to be fair to him, I gave him zero notice and he's with child right now, so that's just not going to work. But I've arranged to meet some friends for dinner, so if I make it, Google reckons I can be there at 20 to 7. Now, that's going to be wildly optimistic, partly due to my average speed, and probably I'm going to hit traffic, but just making it to Portland is the objective here. Yes, it's pure folly, but I want to embrace it, seize the day, and I want to go. Okay, you may recognize this drive from the first time I drove the car. Listen to how great it's sounding though. So happy, so excited. Now this is a bit of road we first drove down when I took the car for its first test drive with Matt. We turned around in that store there, and I remember at the time feeling like fourth gear was ludicrously optimistic, and it's just sweet as a nut now. No problems whatsoever, it just cruises so smoothly, nice and quiet, everything's good. So out on the open road, it's very happy at 100, 110. Very, very happy, just goes up hills nicely. It's not anywhere near as loud as it used to be. I feel like it can cruise like this all day. Half an hour and 20 miles of the journey. I'm stuck in stop and go traffic. According to the signs, we're about half an hour from I-5, so I think there's about 20 minutes of traffic before it clears. I mean, I was kind of expecting it. Man, that's loud. Car deals with pretty well with it. I mean, the brakes are great, it's not overheating, it's fine. I might get sunburned, but I'm alright. Right, we made it as far as the airport, and here comes our first sign to Portland. 5 South, there it is. Oh, this is a momentous moment. Turning onto the Interstate for the first time. And it's pretty much jammed right up. So we ain't going to be setting any speed records, but we are now almost on I-5. Hey! We're finally cruising. that's really impressing me is how smooth it is on this terrible road surface. I-5 gets destroyed by all the people driving on it with chains, all the trucks that drive on it with chains. And in most cars, when you drive on this surface, it's so loud, just so vibrating and just so annoying. This is so smooth on it. I mean, it's beautiful. Okay, I think this is our first 100 kilometers. Oh my gosh, it's a kind of light on the freeway. Good grief. So we're almost halfway, and it's a 70 mile an hour limit, so we can stretch our legs a little bit here. We're doing 65, really happily. No problem whatsoever. So we're probably going to have to stop for gas in about 10-15 miles or so. Okay, first rest stop. Managed to get 4 gallons in. I've been driving for 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's been really tiring. It takes an awful lot of concentration to not just, you know, weave in and out of the traffic and avoid getting crushed by trucks, but just driving a car that feels this small and this flimsy really takes some effort. Anyway, it's a remarkably unhealthy pursuit, driving in this kind of traffic with like no roof on. I mean, I haven't done it in a while. It reminds me just how disgusting traffic and freeways and diesel fumes and everything else is. Anyway, I will probably arrive filthy, but there's a beer waiting for me in Portland, and I'm looking forward to it. Something really bad has just happened. There was this loud screeching sound and a bad smell, and I'm just pulling over to the side of the road. That really did not sound good. Wow, okay. What the heck was that? So here's what I think has happened. I think the alternator has seized, because it was just a sudden screeching sound, and when I tried to start the engine, it's screeching and I see smoke coming out of where the alternator is. So I think it's seized. So I'm just going to back that off, loosen it up, and see if I can make it work with it loosened off. Yeah, that's the problem right there. That is the problem. All right, the alternator's out and it's definitely seized. It doesn't turn at all. So I'm not sure what to do about this, but at least I can get off the freeway now that's disconnected, and that is my #1 priority right now. Perfect. Right. It starts. Now, I'm going to drive it off the motorway, come up with a plan. I'm a little nervous that the loose fan belt's going to wrap itself around the fan, so I probably should take the whole thing out. Anyway, I'm just going to get off the freeway. It's about a mile up ahead, and then come up with a plan. I can almost certainly make it to Portland on just the battery alone. I don't think I'll make it home because I've got to use the lights to get home, and I don't think it's going to go 3 or 4 hours without an alternator and the lights on. So I think I have 2 options. I either fix it or accept that I'm going to be towed home, or our third option is just drive home now. So I'm going to have a look at this alternator, see if I can get it apart, maybe lubricate it somehow. I don't know, we'll see. All right, well, I got the fan out, got the fan belt out. So I'm gonna put that back in. I'm gonna go to O'Reilly's and I'm gonna show them the alternator and see if they can find something that will work. I called them and they had never heard of Citroën, so that doesn't surprise me, but we'll see. I mean, it might be a common model, it might be, who knows, we'll give it a go. I called AAA, and that's complicated, it turns out, because AAA has a policy of not letting you go in the cab with the recovery driver, which means, because of COVID of course, which means that you're supposed to technically just find your own way home. They'll get your car home, but they won't get you home. I don't want the stress of driving with almost no battery, particularly at night on the freeway. It's just too dangerous and stressful. I don't want to do that. So maybe I'll buy another battery. I don't know. I've got to come up with a plan. We'll see what AAA has to say. So here's what's happening. AAA are sending out a driver. He's going to be here in an hour. He will not let me in his cab, but he will let me in my car. And so I thought, oh yeah, great, fine. I'll just sit in the car, no problem. And then I spoke to my wife and she was like, honey, you're going to freeze. I'm like, yeah, I am actually going to freeze. Now, whether or not he's going to let me start my engine on the back of his tow truck, there's no way he's going to let me do that. That's going to be some insurance thing. He doesn't want me driving into the back of his cab. So I might have to just freeze. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I bought a battery charger just in case as like a backup plan, because I thought, well, maybe I could just stop at a hotel and charge my battery up. And the lovely people at this Applebee's would have let me charge my battery outside while I had a meal, so that was nice of them. Anyway, I think getting towed home is the best plan, and I'm going to enjoy a steak and try not to think about the cold. So Mike, my tow truck driver, has made contact, and I'm just going to drive the car around the parking lot of Applebee's and try to warm it up enough that maybe it's gonna make a difference. I don't think it's gonna. Maybe I should just go buy a blanket in Walmart. Applebee's, I have to say, I went in with low expectations and it failed to meet them. It was so bad. Well, I am now successfully piggybacking on Mike's truck down I-5, and it's okay. It's okay so far. He was kind enough to give me his phone number so that if something intolerable happens, I can call him, which is nice. He was very gracious about the car because every single thing about it irritated him. From the fact that he couldn't enter it into his log because Citroen doesn't exist in the list of makes that he can pick up, to the front tow hook that he deemed so insubstantial and flimsy that he refused to tow it up his truck on the hook, to the back wheels and the wing that comes down over them so he couldn't get his strap over them. I wish I had a recording of all the things he was saying. I think he had nothing but contempt for the car and for the situation and for the fact that I had even considered taking it out this far. But you know, he's a professional, he's doing his job, and he's been sweet about it, so that's good. And you know, I'm now gonna have 2 hours to think about what I've done and contemplate my life choices. And really, like, I wouldn't have done anything different. You know, here I am, wrapped up in my Walmart blanket on the back of a tow truck, the ignominy of it, and I really wouldn't change it. Because, you know, what's life if you don't take a few risks? Okay, this didn't pay off, but, you know, you've got to take a risk every now and again. So, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, I'm home, and I'm very glad to be home. It's 1:45 in the morning. Mike drove really well. He did a great job, honestly. I was fine in the back. I didn't get too cold. I'm just very grateful to be home, and I want to go to bed. I'm done. I don't need to prove anything. You know, I'm happy to say that I tried, and I'm good with that. And I can go to bed. I can sell the car, and that's, you know, that can be the end of it.